based in North London. We're a two-form entry primary school. We serve a very diverse community. Majority of the children come from families where English is not the first language. We've got quite a range of languages spoken, so I think the biggest numbers of language speakers are Turkish, Somali and Romanian. We've got lots of other languages spoken in the school as well. It's a very urban environment, but having said that, we're really fortunate in that we're next to a really beautiful park which joins onto the school, and we've also got very large fields, so we're quite lucky in that respect. Partly it was to make use of the outside area that we've got, because as I say, we're quite lucky. But also, many of our children hadn't had the chance to either grow food or even to see where food came from. We were also at the time applying for healthy school status, and there's quite a lot in that about growing food and healthy lifestyles. And the other thing is that we've done quite a lot in the past in terms of outdoor activities, in terms of sport. I mean, the schools, that's always been quite a strength in the school. But what we were aware of was that there were some children that weren't possibly so keen on traditional sports, but we were looking for another activity to get them outside and active, and Green Gym seemed to fit the bill. I've worked with BTCV in another borough, and when I came to Enfield, initially I contacted them directly and spoke with yourself about trying to set it up here. We didn't have any funding initially, but what BTCV were able to do was sort of direct me to where the best funding streams were, and then also to advise about how to put a bid in, because obviously, you know, the organisation has got quite a lot of experience of that sort of thing, and that helped us get a local food grant and then got the project off the ground. Well, we meet weekly. There's a group of up to 10 children, and it varies a bit from week to week. Gareth from BTCV comes along every week to help us, and they do a few activities with Gareth, and then get on with the gardening. Really, it's an after-school club, so it runs from 3:30 to 4:30 once a week. Gareth also helped us sort of kick-start the whole process in terms of helping set up the raised beds that we were going to use, and also brought in a team of volunteers to start that off. The children helped with some of them, but they made, I think, 4 of them, and then the children with Gareth made the other 2. And then what we've done towards the end of the autumn term, beginning of this term, sort of January, February, when the weather's not been so good, we've focused more on inside activities. So we're planning to do some planting seeds inside, but also extending it a little bit to look at wildlife in the area and attracting birds to the area and that kind of thing. We've got Gareth coming back for the last few sessions after half term, and then hopefully he'll get us started on our sort of spring planting, and then we're going to pass over some of the beds to other year groups and get hopefully all the children in the school involved. It's mainly on teacher recommendation. What I asked teachers to look at was children who might benefit from some kind of physical activity, but perhaps are a bit reluctant sometimes to join in traditional sports. Initially, helping us to get the grant was really, really useful, because I know BTCV have got loads of experience in that area. They knew sort of which was the best pot to apply for, and also helped with sort of tailoring the bid so that it met that, you know, the requirements of that particular scheme. Once we had the money, obviously we had the volunteers in to help start the beds off and build some of them, and then also provided Gareth, and it's really useful, especially if as a teacher you're not particularly good at gardening, for instance. It's really handy to have someone there that you can ask, and just to kind of get you started and point you in the right direction. And then hopefully when Gareth's time finishes with us, you know, we'll have a sort of planting schedule ready, so we'll know where we take it from there. Well, I think in terms of the school, it was a really quick and easy way to get a growing area established, and obviously with the help with the bid, it meant we had some funding to get that started. In terms of the particular group of children that initially were part of the club, it's given them a sense of ownership, also involvement in a new initiative. It's something that nobody else had been part of. They kind of started the whole thing off, so that's been really good for their self-confidence. It's also encouraged links with the wider community, because we've now had groups of children, now we've got sort of interest in gardening and growing things. There's a community allotment project where they grow fruit and vegetables in local parks, and because we're right next door to the park, our children have been selected to go and help with that as well. So there's lots more interest and involvement in growing things generally. It's definitely got the children more interested in fresh food and where it comes from. Well, we plan to continue with the club, although we're going to call it Wildlife and Gardening, so we're going to expand it a bit, so we've got things to do at different times of year and perhaps take the children on some trips as well. But also, now they've started the growing area and it's becoming established, we want to pass some of the growing beds over to each year group. So then the whole school will have an area that they'll become involved in, and you never know, I mean, later on this year we might even be able to have our own harvest festival. Well, basically, I'd say go for it. You know, even if you're not as lucky as us in terms of having a field at the back of the school, you know, there are so many options now for growing in quite small spaces. And I think, you know, if you contact an organisation like BTCV, who've got the expertise there, you know, they'll look at whatever you've got and advise you as to what you have, you know, the best use you can make of the space that you've got. And I just think it's a really good way of getting children involved and interested in the natural world.